Sarah. Since Wednesday's night's stream, I've made a couple of adjustments to this computer, and so far I'm not getting any buffering, knock wood. We'll see how it goes. Maybe we've got things straightened out. I did record Wednesday's stream, and tomorrow I'm going to edit it and put the highlights of it up on YouTube so that everybody can catch up. But for those who didn't know, let me bring up the flight program for the current project. Project Moon Miner. We're going to put a mining station on the moon and get 2,400 units of ore off the moon and into Kerbal orbit. Select landing zones. I've just finished the Minmus landing zones a little bit ago. We picked out the one on the moon at the end of last Wednesday's stream. Clear orbit, part retrieval flight. We did that Wednesday. Select crew. We've got that done. Then after that, the crew training flight, which we launched towards the end of Wednesday's stream. It's currently in Kerbal orbit and ready to go up first to the moon and then to Minmus. We're doing a moon and 2 Minmus landings tonight. That's going to be the heart of tonight's stream. Then we return all that to Kerbal. In the meantime, we are in the middle of that. We're also going to rescue one of 2 rescue missions we have in Kerbal orbit. I took a second one just before the stream. That'll be done off screen though. Then after all that, we check and see if we have enough money to actually launch the Moon Miner. If we don't, I take extra contracts to get more money. Then we build the Moon Miner base, which launches from Kerbal in 4 parts. We dock them all together in Kerbal orbit, then fly the whole thing to the moon and land at the same site that we land at tonight, if tonight's landing goes off properly. If it turns out the landing site's not suitable, then we choose someplace else. In order to finish the contract, we also have to launch a space station that orbits high above Kerbal, because we need a place to take the ore once we've got it up. We fill the retrieval ship, launch the retrieval ship off the mining station, dock it with the high orbiting Kerbal station, and job's a good one. Before we dock with the space station, we have to go into low orbit and rescue Orming Kerbal. Orming Kerbal. No, Orming Kerman, that's what... I keep getting Kerbal, Kerbal, and Kerman mixed up. It's really embarrassing. And just now, for the first time, we started getting buffering on the stream. No drop frames yet, but I'm going to have to keep watching that. I have no earthly idea why it does it. Alright. That's good enough to begin with, I think. So let's get on the node. Alright, we're on target, more or less. And burning down. We're going to run out the rest of the first stage on this burn. And that puts us on the main transfer stage for our whole flight around the moon and Minmus. Alright. And we are on the way to the moon, although the periapsis leaves a bit to be desired. So a little bit more burn. And as soon as I do that, we're buffering again. Come on, damn it. Buffering bad this time, apparently. Not showing any dropped frames, but I'm red light on the stream. And it's easing back down now. It's doing that for no apparent reason. That's what bugs me. And ship is on its way. And now I'm getting the encoding overloaded message, but still no drop frames. And green light on the stream. So I don't know what to tell you guys. It does appear to be working better than it was before. So I guess that's something. Okay. And now it spiked again. Jesus H. Christ, why do you do that? It's like it's continually saying, I can go faster, watch, I can go faster. And it jumps for the rung, misses it completely, and falls flat on its face. Ugh. Well, so long as it's not actually dropping frames, I'll press forward. Yeah, everybody I've spoken to recommends OBS, not just because it's free, because it's also fairly versatile, especially as freeware goes. Oh, that's odd. I see what's going on. Two things. One, I forgot to reset back to station keeping on the SAS. And two, when I assembled this rocket, I forgot to refill the monoprop inside the capsule. Which means right now we are running at best on half our monoprop load. And it might just be that only the thrusters below the heat shield are going to fire. We are going to see how that works out. Anyway, warping forward. All right. Got up to this point. And then we're up to here. Yay us. And just about ready for the burn. And firing. Ooh, that's cute. That's a nice little shot. Kerbin in the background, and here's the wrong end of our ship, blowing tons of hot plasma right at us. Okay, we now have orbit around the moon. Yeah, that doesn't look so good. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, shutdown. All right. We are in orbit, but still have to make several adjustments to catch up to Orman. Okay, at our intercept, we are currently 300 plus kilometers away from our target, with our target being behind us. But since we're on a higher orbit, he should catch us up. So let's warp here and set it to go to retrograde once we get around. And we'll see how close we can get to an intercept. This is a rescue, and we don't need to do a perfect rendezvous with the target. We just need to get close enough and slow enough that Orming can make the transfer from ship to ship by EVA. Okay, intersect of 1/2 kilometer at a relative speed of 7.1 meters per second. That is dirt easy to make the transfer at. All right, there's Orming. And Orming is in a Mooncan lander without a docking port, so he's just going to have to get out and take his chances. Okay. And there's the rescue ship above him. So as the landing can floats away, we float up here for our intercept. Congratulations, Orming. You're going to go home. Eventually. After quite a long trip. You're going the long way home. Taking it in nice and safe and steady, because we like Orming. He has such an adorable... No, he's got such a fatherly face, doesn't he? I'm sure he's got a wife and 3 little kerblings back home. They're anxious to see him land safely. And then the wife will divorce him, and the children will write a tell-all book about how Dad was never home because he was too busy with his job as a rocket pilot. But I'm sure Orming doesn't want to think about that sort of thing right now. All right. And there's Orming, trying to get in the wrong door. Try this door instead. Knock, knock. Who's there? Orming. Orming who? Orming is global now. Let me in. Okay, they can't all be winners. Global Orming is now in the ship, and we have a full crew of 7. Jebediah, our experienced teacher pilot. Earl Kerman, our trainee pilot, who's going to fly the miner down. Rescued backup pilot Orming Kerman. And 4 semi-experienced engineers, 3 of whom are going to be part of the team that goes onto the miner. Alright, 0.4 kilometer intercept at a relative speed of 9 meters per second. That is doable. And there's our target. Now the trick is going to be finding a place where we can dock one of these side ports so we can give the station some of our excess fuel. That's the whole point of having this much fuel on this particular ship, is to refuel the moon station to give it the fuel we need for the landings. Encoder is overworking again, but still no drop frames, and we don't have a red light yet, so that's good. Let's go ahead and try to roll this thing so that we have the most open docking port facing the training ship. A little bit further. 410 mission days currently showing on this station. There's 440, I think, days in a Kerbal year. All right. That's in place. Control from there. There we go. Yeah, Random Feast, I did notice that you sent it to me, and I'm going to look it over later and see if it's worth putting in it as extra content in a later stream. All right. That's more or less lined up on target. RCS on. Let's see what fires. Okay, we are getting firing on the RCS thrusters above the heat shield, which I was kind of worried we wouldn't do. Okay, approaching at 0.3 meters per second. Looking good. I really don't care to go any faster than this. This is probably going to be wibbly-wobbly as hell when it connects. "10 meters out. Right on the bubble. Okay. RCS off. And that was remarkably smooth. That was remarkably smooth. Okay, I like that. Okay, we had 3,000 meters per second of delta V. I can go ahead and dump very nearly all of this tank into the space station, and we should be good. And this will give us more than enough fuel to get the moon landing done. Alright, I need to look at Hudke, Elibri, Sonrik, and Hulgar, one of whom is staying here on station. I had these guys listed on a file and I didn't save it. Okay, Hudke has already landed on the moon. He's not going on this flight. Elibri has landed on Minmus. So she's staying here too. Sonrik has to go, yeah. Transfer crew. Sonrik transfers to the lander. I think Hulgar is the other one that has to make, the other engineer that has to make a landing, yeah. Transfer Hulgar there. Erlfin was the one I had picked out for this, but yeah, she's already landed on the moon, which is why I picked her out, to make sure that they can get down again. So, Erlfin transfers to the lander. Okay, 3 meters away, RCS off. A little bit off the line, but should be good enough. There. And that's all we need to do, because no. Huh. Undock. There we go. And we have separation with the Gravioli on board. Now let's have a look at the map. And we're actually coming up right now on the target. Werner's Folly is where we want to land. Activate navigation. Right. So it's time to slow our asses down. Goodbye, space station. We'll be back in a little while. And away it goes. And now away we go. Okay, we are clearly in the air up to our landing zone. So let's warp forward. Set to retrograde. Very good. Under 14 kilometers and dropping at a fairly good rate. And we're pretty much right on top of the zone, and I'm not seeing a hell of a lot of level ground here. Okay, slowing down now. Right. "60 kilometers, and we're coming in a little bit south of the target. So let's find north and give it a little bit of a burn that direction. Okay, map. Retrograde now, please. Oop. Yeah, and just barely in time, too. I realized that we were on sea level altimeter and not surface altimeter. Under a kilometer above the surface. Alright, this is not looking like an ideal spot for our miner, in all honesty. Not looking ideal at all. All right. I'm going to ease us into that crater, if at all possible. All right, final landing approach. "100 meters at 4.4 meters per second. It's all slope here. All slope. And yet we are down, at least for the moment. This is not a good landing zone by any means. Crew report. Cancel that. Alright. Sonrik, you go EVA. EVA report from the Moon's Highlands. Yeah. Keep that experiment. Alright, get back in the ship for the time being. With this thing leaning like it is, we're not going to get out. This is the Highlands, and it's supposed to be high in minerals, but if we put in a mining thing, we'd have to put it right into the middle of this crater. That's all there is to it. The crater looks like it's flat on the bottom, but getting there's the trick. So, I'm going to give it a shot. We're going to make a quick hop. Yeah, this looks better. Okay, that's unfortunate. Flatter, but we didn't get lucky this time. Okay, this is going to be tricky. We can land at the bottom of the crater, but that's about it. Alright, drawing in the landing gear. RCS. Okay. Well, that did not work. And this just became rescue mission time. Haven't been talking that much because I am, as you probably already guessed, busy rebuilding this thing so that it will get both a new lander and a return capsule up to the Moon Space Station. There we go. And let's go ahead and get some struts on this bad boy. There we go. No, there we don't go, apparently. What the hell? Okay, that's got that. And I need one and only one pilot. Bill and Bob, you're not going along. Ronman, for whatever reason, has volunteered. He's never landed any place, so this is probably a good time as any for him. Alright. Let's go rescue some kerbals on the surface of the moon. Alright, anyway, I'm going to proceed for now. And we're flying in 3, 2, 1, fire. And we're off the pad really easily. Full throttle. Burn out these. And there go the boosters. Yay, boosters! And now we're burning hell for leather to get in orbit. By 85. That's pretty good. Is this going to be in the story? No, this isn't a Changeling Space Program flight. This is Kerbal Space Program Career Hard Mode. I am, however, doing a Changeling Space Program stream of CSP Mission 23. That's going to be in the next chapter. That'll be 3 o'clock in the afternoon Central Time, Saturday. Please know that you have at least 2 fans at NASA. I appreciate that. I mean, after all, NASA has a fan here, so... Every month I put up to a vote for my Patreon supporters what games I'm going to stream in the coming month. I'm currently waiting on the Copernicus mod to update for KSP 1.91. Once that does, I'm going to offer the Galileo Planet Pack, a whole new binary star system, all new planets, bunches of new places to go. I'm going to offer a gameplay in that as one of the options as soon as I can actually make it fly. But right now, Copernicus is only updated to 1.81, and it crashes Kerbal Space Program if I try to run it on KSP 1.91. This gameplay and the Changeling Space Program play, no mods, period. It's the only deviation from vanilla is I've got the Making History DLC. Burning for a moon, translunar injection in 3, 2, 1, fire. Should be about good enough. Periapsis at the moon encounter of 80 kilometers. That's enough to work on. We'll pick up Sigpon from his pod. Not going to have much room for people coming home, am I? Alright. Moon Space Station. Set as target. This is going to leave me with a very elliptical orbit to begin with. But that's perfectly alright. Especially since it gives me an encounter almost immediately. Relative speed is damn high. 140 meters per second. Well, Spirit Plumber, the thing is, I started out with 1.05 or thereabouts when I first started playing. I got the bug. How should I put this? I picked up Kerbal Space Program. I ran into a few problems, let it go, and then I found the tutorials not particularly helpful. But I didn't discover Scott Manley. At least not first off. The player that I found most helpful was a very little-known guy named RoninPawn on YouTube. These days, he mostly does cluster truck speedruns. But he has a whole bunch of silly and funny and semi-incompetent Kerbal Space Program vids from back in the early days. And by watching what he was doing, I figured out ways to where I could understand what I was doing with the game. And I was playing hardcore in 1.1, which when I started writing Changeling Space Program, where you did not have the Delta V calculator, you did not have more than one section of conic past a maneuver node, and retrograde in atmosphere on a return would burn through the refuel so fast because the SAS system would constantly overcorrect. And you did not have the difference between sea level and terrain altimeter. You did not have the kill maneuver node or warp to maneuver node options here on the nav ball. They've been gradually adding so much of the stuff that Kerbal Engineer, the mod, had back in the day, that these days I really don't feel a need to pick it up. About the only thing that I'd like that they haven't instituted yet is some way of predicting and then alarm clocking home and transfer node burn points. So you don't have to fiddle forever with maneuver nodes trying to figure out when is the most efficient time to go. And I think that would make Kerbal Space Program a bit too easy, in all honesty. So I don't think they're going to include that in the future. Although they might have it as a late game unlock in KSP 2 when that comes out. I don't know. Okay, time warping here. Okay, time warping here. Okay, time warping here. The fuck? Okay, that's... I've been avoiding using the warp to maneuver node whenever it crosses over a change in sphere of influence, because it usually gives the ship a random change of momentum that screws up my maneuver node. And guess what happened? With a manual warp, it did it again anyway. That threw me for a moment. This is one of the things that I've been annoyed with since 1.8, and 1.9 did not fix it. You did not get these random momentum changes on time warp before 1.8. While I'm thinking about it, is there a probe core inside this thing? Yes, there is. Good. That means once I get lined up with the space station, I can separate this stage completely and dock it separately, and that's more fuel. Pardon me, pee and snack break. I put in the snack for reasons. Needed something to drink and I wanted some popcorn. Took my medicine earlier on account of I am an old fart. You can't really see it in the picture, but you'll notice that the parts of my chin that are the beard that growing back there, this on the chin is mostly gray these days. I turned 46 back in January. It almost fits me, except that I usually don't wear goatees, Skarsnicus. I prefer a full-face beard, but I shaved my chin and the area around my mustache so that an N95 mask will seat properly and not leak. Beards and filtering masks don't mix. But I refuse to go completely clean-shaven. The annoying thing is, my chin and mustache are the only parts that really grow in for a full beard. The hair, my mutton chops are really thin and scraggly. Let's go ahead and hit half power, or a little more than half power, and get started on this burn. 20 meters per second left. Throttle back for the fine little touches on the burn. And slight over burn. Messed me up a little bit. Come on. Change that trajectory. Attaboy. Alright. We actually are not suborbital. We have a fairly high orbit still. And a new closest approach of 3.8 kilometers. So let's warp on closer to that. Want the prograde vector surrounding the dot at the center of the target circle. Like that. Approaching now at 42 meters per second. 0.2 at closest approach. That's fine. We are coming in pretty hot. So hurry up and turn around so I can hit the brakes. Attaboy. Alright, now it's time to zero out beyond all doubt. Right. Let's tab over to the space station. And ugh. Not likey this much. But looks like my best bet for docking this thing is this booster stage that I already had up here. So there's that. Okay. Orient the ship at more or less at the target. And there we go. RCS on. There we go. Approaching at 0.7 meters per second. We are still a pretty good ways out. So I'm going to time warp a bit and let us gradually drift in at roughly the same speed that shuttle approached the International Space Station back in the day. On the beam at 20 meters per second to go. Mark. Couple tiny little puffs. We're not quite level, so there's going to be some wobbling. All right, whoops. Almost screwed up with the, fuck, we bounced off. No dock, no capture. Okay. That'll stop that case of the Krakens that the target was beginning to get a hold of. Right. Drifting back and letting it line up properly. Monoprop is holding up okay. We're still coming in a bit cockeyed, but this time it ought to work. Five meters, approaching at 0.2 meters per second this time. RCS off. Do we get a capture this time? Looks like we got a soft capture. Come on. Gimme. Gimme the dock. You're kissing, why don't you dock? There we go. Finally got it. Okay, I need to move this thing while it still has electricity. So let's decouple you. Tab over. Okay, and that was a mistake. It was a mistake because this thing doesn't have an antenna, does it? No, it does not. Not even a little one. Okay, I forgot about that too, which means I need to get a pilot into the lander. Okay, and it looks like I'm clear for that, so let's go ahead and decouple you. Oh, that's not good. That's very not good at all. In fact, that's shit. That is absolute shit. Yeah. Thanks to this neck here, this thing can't dock with anything. I should have had this be a stack separator instead of a decoupler. My mistake. This is still good for a rescue mission, but it's not going to be good for a permanent replacement up here on the moon. So I'm going to let that drift for now. And let's switch back over to this. Find a pilot who is not otherwise occupied. Okay, monoprop is good here. Undock. What I'm doing is getting this extra tanker here docked to the space station. Once I've got this bit of housekeeping done, I'm going to go ahead and send this botched lander down. Shit. I'm not going to be able to save everybody because I forgot I need an empty seat for that. God damn it, this is completely botched. Coming in at a fairly bad angle, but I want to get this done, damn it. We might not even get to Minimus tonight at this rate. Alright, a little bit closer. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead, after thinking it over a little bit, I'm going to get the engineers up and off the world. And then in between streams, I'm going to send a one-man plus probe down to pick up the pilot. And that will be that. I hope. Because this mission by itself is already an enormous waste of money. Getting it on target finally. Huh. Damn it. There we go. Finally got it. Right. Used up a ton of monoprop in the process. Now, next step is find the space station again and get this rig docked back to it. There. No, that's the lander. There's the space station over there. And that's odd, now I'm showing a signal. So which part of this ship does have an antenna? Whatever. Let's just get this over with. Let's get this over with. 7 viewers come to watch screw-ups without even getting the joy of watching the explosions. Who knew? All right. Looking good. Or at least good enough. RCS off. SAS off. Soft capture and hard capture. Okay. Time for you to go EV. All hatches are obstructed. Can't exit. Lovely. Alright, fine by me. Okay, Siebert's up in the cupola now. And now that that's done, I guess it's destiny after all. Jebediah, get out the ship. Go to that lander that can't dock with anything because I was an idiot and used the wrong part. I would said Orming down, except he's a level 0. And I want at least a level 1 going down to the surface of the moon. Because heaven knows I need all the help I can get. Find me a hatch. Or else this launch really has been wasted. Can I get into the ship? Is the question. If not, we're hosed. Okay, he can grab on. Yeah, he can squeeze under that strut that didn't let go. All right. Activate engine. All good. Oh, is this us right on top of him? It is. Retrograde. Good. Good so far, anyway. Okay. Get on retrograde. It's interesting how that target is shimmering the way it is, because everything's pretty much right on top of it. That's a little bit better. Ronman's on... Oh, for fuck's sake! I forgot Ronman was on here. We've only got one seat to get these guys out. And I've already burned too much fuel to make it worth sending Ronman back. Okay. Whatever else happens, I've got to send another ship here to get everybody. It's going to get crowded on the Moon space station. And I'm just wasting money. Hand over fist. Too late now. I'm going too slowly. There's a good chance that Ronman or Jebediah, whichever one I sent up, wouldn't make it back. Okay. I'm way off target, and my efforts to zero in have not paid off. All right. Damn it, too much. Okay. Still drifting off course. Okay, better. Good. Okay, looks like we're going to come down almost on top of them. But I would rather come down on the downside of them. All right. There we go. Hopefully this works. Final approach. Nope. And that's why I had it on orbit all the time instead of surface. And I can't afford to waste any more fuel. All right, here we come. Was toppling over again. Alright, down, and will we stay down this time? Yeah, this time we found actually a good place to land. Right. Alright, so we're taking the pilots back up. Okay, take all that data. Might as well get it out of here. Yeah. Great success in Russian accent, yeah. Great success! Great success for Cuban motherland! Trust me, I am engineer! I think I'll just put this thing right here. Alright, Earthlyn. Yes. Right. That one's ready to go. And I've just had another brainstorm. I am going to use this for the landing after all. The landing of the of the mining station. But we're going to just leave the engineers here and have them wait for it to get down here. There we go. We're going to leave these engineers here and just bring the mining station to them. They've landed on the moon. They've got enough training. Fabu. But meantime, important thing, we've got to get these three back up to the space station or else they ain't going home. We burned up more than 2/3, closer to 3/4 of what was in the ship to make this landing as close as I did. Burning east on ascent. And we are lifting off in 3, 2, 1, fire. Okay, that was more than half of what we had left in the ship. We're down to 455 meters per second to rendezvous, not dock, with the space station. Because we can't dock with the space station, because our ship is wearing the cylinder of shame. Yeah, if you got Amazon Prime, Twitch is owned by Amazon. If you're an Amazon Prime subscriber, you get a bunch of bennies, including no commercials, if I remember correctly. There's the space station. Okay, I have had an idea. I should be able to thread an adapter in through this that will let this thing dock again. So I don't have to just call this thing junk. I'm probably going to do that on my own time, though. Our new closest approach is at 0.2 meters, apparently. Go ahead and warp more or less to that point. And right on past it. Ramen, EVA. Grab all the data. And Jeb's on board. Finally, Urflin. And if I'm going to send up a collar, I think I'm going to leave Urflin in place. Just leave her here in this ship so that we can dock the thing and make this a usable lander again. So, leaving it at that. Right. Transfer crew. Not transfer crew. Transfer crew. Jebediah up in here. Alright, how many engineers have I got in this ship? Okay, good. Albury is now at level 2. Mildock. Mildock is 1. Leary makes 2. Hudka is 3. Elbury is 4. We can still continue with the training mission. Alright, transfer crew. Orming, who is leveled up remotely. Orming is going to transfer to the return capsule, and we're going to get him home today. And we're probably going to send one other guy down and use the return capsule to pick up the guy that's in orbit. And Furmore transfers to the lander. And we're good to go. We're good to go for all these things. Let's go ahead and undock the training ship. Training flight has 2,000 meters per second of delta V. That is more than sufficient. Really overkill. Markarov, nobody's died yet. There's no call for F. There's no call for F. No. We are actually in reasonably good shape. Except, of course, for the 2 engineers who are stranded on the surface. But even they are alive. They're even going to get to plant a flag in a minute, at least before we end this stream tonight, because I have a contract for that. SAS on. Prograde vector. And watch to make sure we're not running into anything. All right. That'll keep us clear of the space station for long enough to work out a Minmus transfer. And we're actually not in a terrible position for it. Not in a wonderful one either, but... but good enough. Only 200 meters per second of delta V to make it happen. All right. And we can refine that as we get closer. That is a lot of stuff we've got orbiting the moon at the moment. A lot of shit. This is us ready to leave. And firing. All right. And that will do for the moment. Add maneuver. Yeah, that will do nicely. And that will do in a couple of days game time, so we can let that sit for the moment. Sonnerit gets out. Let's go. Slides on down. And plants a flag. And that's another contract fulfilled. Oops, just, oops, Highlands. Future site of Exxon KERBAL gas station. They're back in safe and sound. I'm buffering yet a fucking again. We're going to rescue that other kerbal. I was going to do it off camera. Now I might as well do that. Rescue that, get this lander back on Kerbin, and call it a night. All right. Now restore the reaction wheels. There we go. Little burn to get out of the way of the space station. Intersect 0.2 kilometers at a relative speed of about 70 meters per second. And we don't need to slow down for him. So we just warp around. Yay us. Tabbing over. Here's Sig Pond. after one hell of a thruster burn, we match speeds with the rescue ship. Yeah, I should have said something about that when I was making the burn, something nice and clever, but in all honesty, that was a bit on the tough side. Oh, poor innocent Sigpond. How happy she is to join us instead of her previous employers. She obviously has not watched the rest of this stream. Poor, pathetic, innocent Sigpond. She'll learn. And she's on board. All right. All that's left to do tonight is to get these 3 home. Buffering the stream again. And this is a ship on its way home. Furmore, Orming, and Sigpond. In 3, 2, 1, fire. And I'm not liking where we're coming down. Me no likey something none at all. No, no. Do not like. Do not want. Let's go ahead and raise that periapsis just a bit. We're going to deliberately skip off the atmosphere. And this is going to be an aerobraking maneuver to get us down in a better position that isn't this goddamn huge continent. Alright, periapsis is just barely under 50 kilometers. That shouldn't be low enough to bring us down at this speed. But if necessary, I will hit the thrusters if we're getting heating alarms on this pass. Okay, that's all the monoprop gone. Not that I expect to need it. We're about halfway down. Get us back out of atmosphere, which will happen in just a moment. And astonishingly, we haven't used up any electrical charge according to this thing. Probably because the Poodle regenerated what we used. And oh yes, that is a major improvement. I like E very much. Alright, we have 1886 meters per second left after that little burn. We are going at 2660 meters per second orbital velocity and accelerating as we approach our periapsis. Again, this is not enough for a powered descent, but I'm hoping this gives us enough control to land practically on top of the Space Center. And maybe even bring back the engine. We're sure as hell gonna try. Here we go. Okay, green light on parachutes. Surface velocity 250. Popping parachutes now. Okay. And we're good. 6.5 meters per second. Although the parachutes peaked out over the 15 G max on the meter. So our guys are feeling a bit of hurt after that hard yank. But we should be good. And this tank is empty enough that it'll definitely float. So bringing us down a little bit more. Two rescued kerbals and a rescuee kerbal. And a rescuer kerbal, rather. Coming down in the water. Only a couple of 100 kilometers away from the Space Center. There we go. Stable 1, recover vessel. I said recover vessel. There. And that is how you do that. Okay, come on. Render us in. No science here, but that's okay. 88% value, only 200 kilometers from KSC. So we got back 9,300 kerbucks. Plus, of course, the completed contracts. Means all in all, we're still short of having enough money. Still short of having enough money to launch the miner in all its components. But we're not as far away as I was afraid we would be after me bitching up the landings and stuff. Build a new surface outpost on the moon. Yeah, don't mind if I do, because that's exactly what we're already going to do. That gives us more money. Plant flag on Minimus. We're going to do that. Extract ore from Minimus. How much money does that pay us? Extracting ore from Minimus. That pays us enough to send a mining ship to Minimus as well. I like that. I like that a lot. We'll take it. And rescue from orbit of the moon. Buku bucks. Gonna take that and probably do it off screen. And now, thanks to the advances, we have enough money to put the miner on the moon. I do not know if that will be Wednesday or not, but Wednesday we are going to complete the training flight, get in the landings on Minimus, and bring all the trainees plus Jebediah back to Kerbin. And if we have enough time, we're going to assemble the moon station in orbit around Kerbin. That's Wednesday night. Saturday night, beginning at 7 p.m., we're doing the first installment of XCOM Chimera Squad. That's the brand new game that just came out a couple of weeks ago. I have it. I finally got it installed and ready to go. But patience, thanks for your enthusiasm, and thanks as ever for your subscriptions and support. Here's the image. Here's the cog. And good night, everybody.